All right, here we go. We're live, but not really, not really live. But good
Sure.
to see you, man. How you doing today? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's good to see you too. No, it's been a really chill day. It's been nice. How
Awesome,
about you?
awesome. My day's been great. My day's been great. I have a 7 month old now. She just turned 7 months a couple
Whoa,
of days ago. So that's been the
congrats.
big thing. Thank you for the past several months, and then about a year even prior to that, of course, leading up into being a father. Been incredible. Just learning each day and just kind of just realizing how much of a blessing it is to be a
Yeah,
dad and see her every day, and it's just it's a beautiful thing, man. All smiles.
that's so cool. I'm
Yeah.
always really impressed with the people who are doing YouTube and doing music production and have kids. That's like it just I imagine the amount of work you have to do like quadruples, but it's really cool. It sounds like it's absolutely worth it though. I feel like everyone who's doing that and juggling all that at the same time is having a pretty good experience, it sounds like, even if
Bro,
it's kind of busy.
100% busy. And I think the big thing that I noticed, at least in the first several months, has been I'm the kind of guy who I really have a lot of different ideas at any given moment in my mind, and like I want to do them all. You might be able
Yeah.
to relate in some ways, and
Yeah.
we'll definitely get into that. And it's kind of helping me just refrain and say, okay, I don't have like before. I kind of convinced myself that I did have the time to do all those things. Now I know that
Yeah.
I don't, and so now it's like being very meticulous on where I'm spending my time. And it's been a rewarding journey, let's say that so far. So I've been enjoying it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Remind me where you based out of, where you located.
Yeah, I'm in Portland, Oregon. I've been here for quite a
Uh,
while, like I think 11 years now. Yeah.
okay. There's a fellow creator. I'm pretty sure he's either there or around there. What's his name?
Is it Freebeat?
Fr- oh, well, I've heard of Freebie. I didn't know he's based out of there.
Yeah, my contact at Akai, I think, so the
Okay.
Freebeat's here too, which is wild. I could be
Okay.
wrong on that, so my bad, Freebeat, if you're watching
Yeah,
this
right.
and you're not
Hey,
here.
shout this is free promotion. Shout out to Freebeat. Check out his
Yeah.
channel. Check him out, man. Yeah, yeah.
He's good.
Uh
He does it every day. I don't know how you do
is that
that.
right? So uploads a video every day.
I am fair,
Whoa.
at least weekdays, I'm pretty sure. I think he does
Wow,
that thing
wow.
where you have them prepped. I'm too busy. I'm like I can't do that. It's amazing though.
Yeah. Man.
But
Well, so
yeah,
the
I'm not
guy's
sure
name
who
is
else is out here.
Soul Lift is his name.
Okay.
SOULYFT. He is he's on YouTube, but not like our stature on YouTube. He's more
Hmm.
on Instagram. I say our stature, half joking, half serious, right? He's more
Yeah, I know
more
what you
so
mean.
his yeah his content. He's not on our level. Soul Lift, you know what I'm
Oh
talking
yeah,
about, you man.
yeah.
Not
Get
you
good.
know
No.
you know you know what's up. But yeah, he does. You've heard of Teenage Engineering, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
you know about them, right? So yeah, he does a lot of
Hmm.
stuff on the OPZ, and that's like one of my favorite pieces of gear.
Cool.
And so that's sort of how we connected. And he also was a guest on my show several like about a year ago or so. So I had a chance to connect
Nice.
with him. But it's gonna be funny after this is said and done. He has a chance to watch this, and we had a whole introduction about him, and then I find out that it's actually not Portland, Oregon that he's at. He's in a whole nother state somewhere. Like, damn, okay, I got to get my facts straight. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
But Portland, Oregon. So that is definitely a place in the United States that I absolutely want to visit,
Hmm.
mostly because of Portlandia. And I
Yeah,
just want to know how much of that, I really want to know how much of that is like accurate. So maybe, I'm sure you've obviously heard of it, maybe seen
yeah.
some skits. Is
Oh
that
yeah.
exactly how it is?
Oh man. Okay, so I don't know how closely you've been tracking like the politics of Portland in the last few years,
Not too
but
much, no.
there. I don't know how to talk about Portland right now without like people from Portland potentially roasting me, but basically, like I will say, it definitely when I moved here in 2011, absolutely Portlandia was tapping into something. I mean, locals would be like, "That's not how it is," but there's definitely some of that.
Uh-huh.
I went to film school here, so I actually like knew people who worked on the show, which was cool.
Oh, how
Um,
cool.
yeah, I didn't end up interning or anything like that, but some folks did, and that was cool. But yeah, Portland's gotten weird in the last few years. I think like not in the keep Portland weird way, just like
Mm,
the pandemic. I think I don't know how much you want to talk about that on this podcast, but it hit
uh-huh.
Portland kind of hard, and Portland reacted kind of strangely to a lot of the protest stuff. Like uh, it got really magnified on the news. Like if you talk to like older people in different parts of the country, they're like, "Oh, you're in Portland? Like, are you okay?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, "Yeah, dude, it was like normal peaceful protests for a couple blocks."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it got really magnified. That and so I don't know. Yes, the Portlandia side of it is there, but I think like probably like a lot of the world, the pandemic side hit pretty hard too. So it's like half very quirky and weird, and then half boarded up windows in downtown. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's very
Yeah, yeah,
strange.
yeah. Gotcha, gotcha. Man, so all right, so you mentioned something just interesting just now as we kind of get a chance to kind of learn a little bit about you. So you said
Hmm.
film school. So you went to
Yeah.
school for film school. Is this something that you like knew that you wanted to do for a long time? Like when you were younger, you kind of saw yourself going, this path?
It's kind of weird. I always considered myself a musician first, at least since when I was about probably 14 or 15, and I started doing electronic music production.
Hmm.
But I've also been like making videos, and I thought I was going to be a director. When I was younger than that, I was reading like Robert Rodriguez's Rebel Without a Crew and just like lots of film stuff. And
Hmm.
it's kind of dumb, but the reason I chose the film major was because I thought it would be easy. And no disrespect to people who like take that very seriously, but I was right.
Mm.
Like the amount of credits you have to get. I was also in the honors college, which was nice, which meant I didn't have to take any math, and I took like one science. So
Yeah,
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 it was
yeah.
kind of strategic, but I learned stuff that I ended up using on this channel. And I don't want to skip ahead, but I actually did start the channel in one of my classes, in like a visual effects class. I was doing something totally different. Those are like delisted videos now, but technically the
Hmm.
channel started in like 2017 or early 2018 with some film school class stuff, which is funny.
Gotcha. Well,
But yeah,
and we'll kind of jump around a little bit. One of the things that stood out to me with your channel is that it seems to me like you have a quite broad range of different types of tech. Some related to
yes,
music. I saw some stuff recently, and we'll definitely talk about that Akai Forest. I want to know about what
yeah,
that has been like, that experience with your latest video. But I was kind of just
yeah,
scrolling through and saw a few different things on there. I saw some stuff about other tech like the Surface Pro, how
mhm,
you like replace that with instead
yeah,
of using an iPad and a Mac. And then I also saw, and we'll get into video games as well. I found out that you're into video games as well, and you got
yeah.
a Steam Deck. And I'm kind of curious about that because I'm a Switch owner. I have a Switch right now. I've been playing a lot of this
Heck
game.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of this game called Binding of Isaac before? You ever heard of this?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know
I've
about
got
it?
like
Okay.
40 hours on the Switch version of that. Yeah,
Oh, you did. Okay. It's like,
yeah,
bro, I've been going in on, and
yeah,
so look, I played a lot on the Switch. Specifically, like I got into it a lot. I know it makes it sound bad. Like, wow, why during your honeymoon? It's not like we were doing a lot of honeymoon stuff in Greece, of course.
yeah.
But then, like when my
Sure.
wife is like to bed or something, and I just have like some time that I just want to like play. Like I
Yeah,
put in mad hours in the middle of the night there. But I had
yeah.
a thought. I was just like, as you know, you've put in 40, so you know that game has like a lot of just intricacies and like interesting things that
Hmm.
happen. And I was always like, dang, like, okay, I can take a picture of this screenshot of one of the shops filled with seemingly a million coins from duplicating or doing something crazy like this. But I would
Yeah.
love to be able to live stream this in an easy and effective way. And fast forward to today, I have a PS5 now. And so I've been like live streaming. It's like this one guy that
Nice.
joins who like knows everything about this game, and he gives me like these pointers. It's like it's becoming such a fun thing. I'm just I'm trying to I'm trying to now curb, like not curb, I don't know if that's the right word, but like
Yeah, yeah.
minimize. Yeah, curb is probably right. Not play as much
Hmm.
as I have been. Like put like a
Yeah,
little restriction on. Otherwise, I'll be down there for like hours just going in trying to do mad runs consecutively. But
yeah.
tell me a little bit about your game. Like, what kind of games growing up were you
Sure.
into? Were you a big Nintendo person or?
Yeah. No, totally. So, you know, I think I started with the Super Nintendo. It was probably the first console I had. I technically got a Nintendo Entertainment System at like a thrift store, but it was broken, which was a huge bummer. And
Yeah.
so, and for reference, I'm 29. I'll be 30 in April. So I was a generation behind because I was poor for most of my childhood, but like technically it was like N64, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and all that.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, I do cover mostly music technology on my channel. Like if you look at the vast majority of my videos, it's music production stuff, talking about music gear. I actually started with the OPZ as well, which is cool. I think a few
Nice.
folks did, but I bought the OPZ on a really bad day. I, like just went through a breakup and was like, I'm going to treat myself. I went down
Okay.
to, I'll give them free promo. I went down to Control Voltage in Portland, which is like the best synth shop out here.
Uh-huh.
and bought that and was like, in order to justify this, I have to start making regular videos, and I did. And so that's kind of how it
Ah,
started.
wow.
But yes, I've been a gamer. Like I always feel weird calling myself a gamer, but I've been playing games since
Yeah.
like probably the end of the '90s and then on. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
handheld stuff, but also a lot of the different consoles. I had a really bad, and maybe still do, like kind of a tech addiction thing where like I could only afford one thing at a time. So
Mm-hmm.
I owned like three PSPs and three DSs at a certain point where I would like buy a
Wow.
PSP, play it a lot, be like, I want the DS, sell the PSP, go back and forth. It never
Oh,
occurred to me that if I just
wow.
save money someday, I could own
Yeah.
both. Um,
Okay. Sure. Sure.
but the channel operates or at least started in a similar way where I would like buy something, try it out, sell it, and then try something else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a lot of my early bigger videos would pop off, where I would just start comparing things. Like I would buy a few
Mm.
things at once, compare them, trade them in, and sell them. It's really only in the last year or so that I've tried to actually just hold on to stuff and just build out a collection of music gear that makes sense. Because in the
Mm.
best form, my channel is a way to, one, just practice. Like my skills as a musician are a lot better because I'm constantly practicing either on camera or off camera to
Mm-hmm.
make good videos. And two, to build up a studio and build up equipment that like actually makes a better, I don't know, setup for making the music I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as gaming, like lately I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring on PC,
Okay. Wow. Heard that game
which is
is
like
extremely
one of the
hard.
big games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
It's really hard, but you can kind of grind. So like I'm not actually that good at it, I think. It's just that like you can keep leveling up. So if you get stuck, just like fight the same dude over and over, go somewhere else. But anyway,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've played games forever. I've used tech forever, and the channel for the most part is focused on music, but you can probably speak to this as well, or like you know this as well, but I started primarily doing iPad videos. That's when like my channel started to really build an audience. And iPad videos are kind of a niche within a niche within a niche. It's like
Yeah.
iPad
Sure.
apps and then music production and then music gear. And I started realizing because I've been a big fan of tech in the same way I've been a big fan of games and music
Right.
tech. Like I buy iPads, tablets, computers, all that stuff. I never wanted to be a full blown tech YouTuber because one, it's a really saturated space, and
Mm-hmm.
two, I think it would be bad for like my tech addictive tendencies to just
Mm.
constantly be doing tech YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But what I try to do is if I do get a new piece of gear or if I change how I'm using my computing setup and I think I have something interesting to say about it, then I will take the time to make a video about it. And if you sort my videos through like popularity, a lot of the ones that really blow up are the ones about tech. I think just because the audience is literally bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Mm-hmm.
think about YouTube as like a search engine,
Mm-hmm.
um, more people are looking for like, should I buy this MacBook Pro or is the Samsung Galaxy? I think I have like the S10 Plus or something. Is this like worth buying this year? There's just
Mm-hmm.
literally more people are interested in that, and so I don't want to do that all the time, but making those videos is kind of rewarding because it builds out the audience and it lets me kind of talk about something different. But for the most part, my videos are primarily focused on music production and music technology and where those two kind of overlap.
Mm-hmm. So you said
Also, I
something very
apologize for
interesting.
rambling. Very
Nah,
rambling.
nah, nah. This is look, man, like I said, conversation, so it's all good. And you're the guest. So
Cool.
if I start
Okay.
rambling on my own podcast, then I have to that's a problem, right? And I've learned over 100 episodes, where to kind of go with that. And so one of the things you jumped out that resonated with me just now is like you said, when you have something important or
Mm-hmm.
relevant or something that excites you about some specific piece of music gear or something that you've learned recently or something like that, that's when you feel sort of compelled to create a video. And I've been kind of doing that a little bit more lately myself. And it's one of those things where when you're just, then I kind of think of it as like when I'm hyped about something, right? Very similar. I'm like
Yeah.
hyped about this. You're hyped about this new, I think it was a software, a audio plugin that came as an update on Force, right? Akai Force. And so
Yeah.
like you want
Yeah.
to talk about it. And so tell me about, I guess, well, let's talk about that a little bit. Because I know I messaged you and I love seeing like, there's so many different places we can go with this, but like when you posted
Okay.
the screenshot of like your analytics right on YouTube,
Yeah.
that resonated with me because I know what that's about. Like that's my space as well, and I'm like, oh snap, this is good stuff right here.
Yeah.
Like this is awesome, you
Yeah.
know. And so and I was looking at the video last night, and Dang, I forget. I mean, I'm sure you remember the title. The title you chose for that video. Do you remember what
Very
it is off the top of your
not
head?
clickbaity, but it's like Kai Force is unstoppable, all
Right.
caps. Yeah.
That is that. I mean, clickbaity or not clickbaity, I think that's an
Yeah.
incredible title because
Thank
it's
you.
yeah it's different than, as you know, from doing the. How many years have you had the channel now? About like
I've
actively
done over
posting stuff.
3 years of weekly vids. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're
Yeah.
very much like on a similar trajectory. I'm in the same
Oh yeah.
space where I started right around
Yeah.
that same time, and yeah, doing that title versus I don't know,
Playing
Akai
with the new
Forces.
plugins on the Akai
Yeah.
Force, or like, yeah,
Right.
it's a
Man.
constant balance, and like you
Yeah.
never really know what's gonna work. But I watch a lot of YouTube. Like I watch more YouTube than anything else. Like I
Mm-hmm.
watch it more than Netflix and any other streaming service combined. I learn a
Yep.
lot from other YouTubers. I don't just
Sure.
watch music YouTube, but I watch a lot of music YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm constantly trying to like learn and grow, and so many people will talk about this, but the big YouTubers will talk about the fact that if your title and your thumbnail aren't good, it does not matter how good your video is. Like your video needs to
Mm-hmm.
be good, don't be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But if your title and your thumbnail don't bring people in, they'll never see it. Like they'll never
Yeah.
know. And so it's this balance of like, and I jokingly say clickbait. I try to never ever actually make clickbait. And in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
clickbait is like, this is, I'm telling you it's going to be this, and it's not. That's clickbait.
Totally.
That's not
Totally.
okay. I don't think people should do it. You're not going to build an audience that way, and you're just going to make people mad. But being overly excited, and which is kind of what I did with the Force video. And I think before I dive too much into the intricacy of the video, I just want to say this: like, I don't think the video is substantially better than anything else I've done, or like better than what most people do. In fact, like for the most part, and I've talked about this on my channel, I don't
Mm-hmm.
try to get too inside baseball on my channel too much, but
Inside
I try
baseball.
to
What's
make
that mean?
basically inside baseball is essentially like talking about how the sausage is made, like talking about the
Oh,
intricacies or behind the
gotcha.
scenes, right? And so
Sure.
I try not to do through that, like, or do that too much on my channel, just because I don't know how much people care, but I think this
Mm.
is the place for it. So
Sure. Sure.
I'll just say that my philosophy is make the best video I can make every week. I try to make one a week. I work a full time job, so it's usually a weekend project. I basically have like 1 day weekends now, which is fine,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because this is something I like to do. But
Mm-hmm.
every week I make about, hopefully, the same quality of video or a little better. If I have a really rough week or like a really emotional week or whatever, maybe I just record a beat from scratch or do something. I never let myself not make a video.
Mm.
So something will go on the channel, but for the most part, I'm trying to make about the same quality of video every week. So when one does what the Force video did, I can't really tell you why. Like at a
Mm-hmm.
certain, like it's cool, and I've had a few videos. My Surface Pro 8 replaced my MacBook and iPad video, just crossed 112,000 views, and
Fire.
that came out in the spring. And like it's a fine video, but
Mm-hmm.
like the difference between that and the average video on my channels, I don't consider that huge, other than what I talked about before, which is that tech stuff appeals to a larger audience.
Mm.
That's where the Force video is weird. Like for me, there's nothing about that video that should have popped off that way. Like I know that my viewers have appreciated my Akai Force videos lately, and that those ones tend to get like a couple thousand views, which is, for me, that's great. Like a couple
Mm-hmm.
thousand views, 5,000 views. If it hits 10, that's a huge video for my channel on average.
Mm-hmm.
So this video, I guess I should say this because we didn't say this, but the video is about 40,000 views right now in like 2
Mm-hmm.
weeks. The Akai Force video.
Yep.
Crazy like ratio, crazy view ratio, crazy like money side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part of that video for me, obviously it blowing up is cool, but the coolest part is it was the first thing I made. I think the first thing I made where I knew this update was coming for a while.
Mm.
I have an NDA, so I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about, but like this is one of the first ones where I've actually talked to Akai. Like I'm in a different place now with the channel where I have contacts at Akai, Native Instruments, Perfect Circuit, like a couple different places now.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of those situations where I knew this was coming. I knew how big it was. I had to stop making Akai Force videos because I only have one, and I had the beta on there. There's like no way to film it and not see that those plugins are going to be on
Oh,
there.
wow. Okay. Wow.
And so I think that's part of it too, is like when I finally could make the video, it sucked because it was like a weekday and I didn't know when the embargo was. So like other people already had their videos up. I was like, oh, I'm going to be late. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I was excited about it, and I was genuine about it. And the algorithm, I mean, really big YouTubers will say, think about your audience, not the algorithm. So I try to stay in that mind state, but to be honest, that was the algorithm. That was like, YouTube was just like, okay, this one's good enough. People like it. Here, show it to 10 times more people than we normally do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because it just had a really high click-through rate. So that goes back to what you talked about, like the title and the thumbnail. Most of my videos, and this might be like showing more than I should, but most of my videos click through average around 6 to 7%. So of everyone who sees the thumbnail and the title recommended to them, 6% on average will click and watch it. For me, that's fine. If you're Mr. Beast, that's horrible. Like your career's over. But for me, that's okay. This video was 19% from the jump.
3 times plus.
Which is when I
Wow.
knew it was going to be special. Yeah. And that's, I think, why YouTube just let more people see it. But I don't know. Like, some of that stuff is mysterious to me. If you and I are talking in 2 years and every video I make is hitting 50K every week or something, then I might have learned something and could tell you what it is. But right now they're kind of like flukes, and the best recommendation I can give anyone is just make every video good enough that if it happens to any of your videos, you won't be like, oh God. Like, there's musicians who talk about this. Like, you don't want your big song to be one you're embarrassed about. So when I make music, I never put out anything that I would be embarrassed if it was the only song people knew from me. I try to do the same with YouTube, but doing it every week, it's a balance. Like, sometimes you're going to make a video that's not perfect, or do something you might like. It's a weird mirror, right? I don't know if you do this, but I'll look back at like my old videos, my old thumbnails and titles. I'm grateful for how much I've grown, but it can be, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's nice to be where I'm at now.
100%, man. I mean, so you mentioned your relationships, right, with these brands of products that you previously purchased probably out of pocket when you were mentioning buying and making content and stuff. And so now, in order to get to a place where you are now, where companies see the value of working with you, I think it's something, it's important for people in our with our audience size, for other people out there to kind of know that these brand partnerships are 100%, as case in point, what you're experiencing and what I'm experiencing now, doable and possible with where we're at, and even a little bit less, right? There's this unique thing in my experience that brands are kind of looking for. And I think both of us have it, which is like, I could tell just from watching your videos, and certainly from talking to you now, it's like a genuine, just like, I trust what you're saying. I trust you as a person just from meeting you here and just watching your videos. And I think that's something that that's important. I had a conversation. I'll keep the name of the company out for now, just because it's still brand new. But I had a conversation the other day with the company, a reseller who sells a lot of music gear, and it was an email I received from them. And both of us, I'm sure, receive emails time to time. Companies, you read it and you're like, okay, is this something legit, or is this something that's worth my time or not, kind of thing. So you have to kind of, I mean, I'm not getting a whole lot like that to that point, like the Mr. Beast of the world or whatever.
For sure.
But I get enough to know, okay, this one looked interesting. I looked the company up. I was like, oh, wow, I've heard of them before, all that good stuff, right? So we set up a call, and what came out of this call is what I'm going to consider, and I'm being careful with how I handle it, but sort of a monumentous, I believe, potential to be monumentous turning point for my channel, in the sense of I have the capability of getting virtually any piece of gear that I want on loan for as long as I want it. And so for me, I'm like, well,
that's huge. Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you, dude. Yeah. And I really appreciate that. And I'm careful with who I share it with, because I know that you would understand the magnitude of that. If I like, was out with friends or family and I mention it to them, like, I don't know, I feel like they're not going to.
Isn't that the worst feeling I'm trying to find a word for that, but I've had multiple things in my life where like it's huge in a tiny bubble. Like this is the biggest deal if the person knows, and if they don't, they're like, all right, cool, man.
They're like, cool, yep. And then it almost makes you feel like,
bud.
It's like protecting our our peace, I guess. Like you don't even want to say it, because like I know what this what this can kind of mean for me. But I think the big maybe we have to come up with a word for it, because I mean, apparently I guess both of us have experienced it at least more than once.
Compartmentalized success, maybe. I don't like very
a lot of syllables, but I'll take it.
That's huge though. That's huge, man. Not to interrupt you, but that's awesome,
dude. I asked the question. I'm like, okay, this, you know,
Hmm.
this is incredible. I'm so excited about it, you know, but I'm curbing the excitement a little bit on the conversation. And I'm wanting to know, like, how are you guys able to do this? So I'm asking qualifying questions, and like, what's
Yeah.
in it for you guys? If there's like no stipulation, you don't have to post about it. You can if you want. It's like very much
Yeah.
like that. I'm like, okay, why? I was just curious, like, you know, what stood out to him on my channel, and I asked him that question,
Hmm.
and it was the second time that a company talked about my genuinity, if you will call it that, on
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
channel. And that's what it is. And that just made me, like, literally that day I was like, all right, I feel like I want to record a video and just be, I want to, you know, force myself to be more genuine. No, but I was like, I
Yeah.
was enthused about it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me just
Yeah.
be just completely just being myself. And that seems to be working. It seems to be resonating. You know what I'm saying? So I think both of
That's
us can
awesome.
kind of speak to that. But I talk about this scenario now of like being super thoughtful with what this means, because like I think, as you know, as a person who produces music as well,
Yeah.
and you know, checks out new gear and stuff, it's like it can be overwhelming a little bit if there's like too much stuff to learn and not enough like actually creating, kind of thing, like on the musical space.
Yes.
I've dealt with
Yeah.
that a little bit, so it's exciting, it's brand new, and we're gonna see how it all shapes out in the next, you know, next few days, next few weeks.
That's so cool. I want to speak a little bit to that part of it because I'll be totally frank in this. I think some people might feel weird if I say this, but part of why I started doing my YouTube channel was to maybe one day get to the point where I had a thing that either financed or supported this habit I already had of like getting a lot of
Mm,
gear, a lot of
yeah,
music gear. I wanted to build an engine. You know, I've seen Red Means Recording, Tatro, Sanjay C, Rachel K.
yeah,
Collier, like all these people. It seemed like some of them were getting free stuff, and I was like, I want to,
yeah,
I want to see if I
sure,
can someday do that.
yep,
Out of that motivation, a whole bunch of other stuff happened. I'm so grateful for. But I will say, you know, for me, it's mostly been proactive. I'll say that, like, and this is for anyone watching who's trying to build a channel. Like, I think of the quote unquote brand engagements that I have, which are still kind of rare, almost all of them have been because I reached out, like cold reached out. And I'm in
hmm
no way really embarrassed about that. I wanted to hit certain thresholds. So I think it was around when I passed like 4,000 subscribers, something like that. I was like, okay,
hmm
I might be big enough. I think I made a
hmm
meme that was like, um, I love review units. I'd love to get one someday with like the Michael Scott like inside joke thing.
yeah,
And this other channel who I won't name, they were like, you know, you're probably big enough to like ask. I'm like, okay.
wow,
So I tried, and you know, to get really into the weeds on it, I made a pretty negative review of the Machine Plus around this time last year.
mm,
I'd had a bunch of problems with it. I paid $1,400 out of my own pocket at Guitar Center. We were past the review or the return window, and it had
mm,
so many issues when it came out. And
wow,
I went hard on that. Like I was like, there's so many problems. I was like so mad, and
hmm
I try not to make negative videos too much anymore. Like it doesn't feel like a good use of my time, and they don't age bad in the sense they're badly made. But almost every negative video I've ever made ages bad in the sense I look back on it and I don't feel that way anymore. So
mm,
I don't love having like a permanent negative record. If like three
hmm
weeks from now they update the product, that's there forever. People are still commenting on that video, like thanks. And I'm like, no, it's good now. I made another review.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
but after I made that video, multiple people from Native Instruments started commenting on it and reaching out in a really cool way. Like, we hear
oh,
you, we appreciate you giving this feedback. And then I made a real contact. I don't know if he wants me to talk about him, but like people shout out Mick Benjamin. So I'll just say like Mick Benjamins is one of the guys who works with like artists like us and creators like us to
gotcha,
connect with Native Instruments. And he reached
hmm
out after that very negative video and was like, hey man, I just wanted to say like, thanks for, I think I made a follow up that was like a little bit nicer, I think. And after that, he was
hmm
like, hey, I hope you have like a great holiday season. Like, appreciate your video, appreciate your honesty, which is what you're talking about.
mm,
I literally have a tattoo. It's my only tattoo. It just says "Stay honest." So it's
wow,
definitely like
dope,
I,
okay,
I definitely follow that for sure. I kind of clown on myself about it now because I was really young when I got it, but I still do try to like actually be an honest person. But
sure,
yeah, I will just say for people starting channels, like a lot of the stuff I'm doing, like when I've reached out to different companies and like I just this week I put out the Mini Freak video. I got the Mini Freak from Perfect Circuit,
hmm
and they did like an ad in place for a discount kind of thing.
hmm
Um, that's because I reached out, and I think like, you know, if you're I was thinking about like the biggest message I wanted to get across when we did this conversation. And for me, it's like every time I've talked to people doing amazing stuff in different fields, they tell you to just do it. Like not in like a cliche Nike way, but like if you want to be a musician, be a musician. If you want to be an artist, be an artist. Like just start doing it and keep doing it. Learn, don't shut yourself down. Like one of the best things I learned in film school is being open to criticism. Like I carry that into the channel, and that I try to respond to literally every YouTube comment. So like people have taken time out of their day to say what they think about a thing I made for the most part. And I'm very lucky here. I know this, but like 99.9% of the comments are nice, or just like someone's opinion or something they're like sharing or talking about. A small percentage are rude, and you can decide how you want to engage with that. But for the ones that are like just genuinely engaging, even if they're disagreeing with me, but they're like, no, I don't feel this way. Actually, this is like how I use this tech. I'm like, cool. That's awesome. Like, oh, I didn't think you were going to respond. I'm like, yeah, man, like it's all good. I'm not better than you. I just made a video. Like, how's it going? But so I really recommend one, doing it all the time, like really committing to a cadence. That's something I did with the channel was I'm going to make a video every week. That started around the middle of 2019, maybe a little earlier. And I've done it. I don't think I've missed like 1 week, maybe one. But set a cadence that's realistic. I work a full-time job, so I don't do more than that. I could. Every now and then I'll make 2 videos in a week, but that's usually if I had time off or it's a holiday or if I just got really excited about something. But set a schedule. This is true of like any new thing you're trying to do, but set a cadence that's realistic, something that would actually fit your life, that you don't have to change dramatically to do. And then keep doing it. And that's true for any art form, music, video, anything. But I bring that up in combination with the reaching out to people, because there are going to be times where you do have to be proactive, as you know, and don't be afraid to do that. Like the worst a company or a person or collaborator can say is no. And also maybe learn how to say no too, right? Like you can probably relate to this. Once your channel gets about 200 or 300 subscribers, like a bunch of people come out who you've never heard of, or like, we got to collab, like right now, let's collab, bro. And I do want to be a more collaborative person, but it's not really my traditional workflow. So it was a lot of being like, thank you, I appreciate you reaching out. But anyway, learning how to say no in the sense of also managing your time is important. But yeah, I think the biggest things I've learned are definitely don't be afraid to ask and reach out to companies. They'll tell you if it's not time. I've definitely reached out to companies like, oh, we'll put you in consideration. Like, thanks. Like, awesome. Don't be negative. Don't be offended. Like, if you're not there, if they don't want to partner with you yet, that's cool. Don't hold it against them. If time comes by and they come back and they're like, hey, we're interested. Like, cool. Awesome. Good to see you. Like that's, it's really, I think for the most part, just, I don't know, appreciating what you have and trying to keep it growing. And that's, to go back to the 40K video this week, it's like, the thing I'm trying to do is not hold that video against myself. I don't know if you've ever had this, but like when a video gets really big, I used to get bummed out the next week. Like, I've got to follow that out. No, like, I knew that, like, and that's part of why I made the Steam Deck video. Like, there was a little bit of pressure of like, I should talk about something more people are interested in, just so it might hit even a fraction of the audience that other one did. But this week, you know, I reviewed a synthesizer, and like, I know that one's not going to be one of 10, 20,000. That's okay. Like, I had the brand partnership, which is cool. But even if I didn't, there's always going to be a next video. And I think the best thing I talked about earlier is make the best thing you can do every week. And what I've started to think about lately is like, you're building a body of work, right? So one video gets 200 views, one video gets 2,000 views, one video gets 40,000 views. They aren't competing with each other. You made like basically 42,200 views, right? Like it's a combined thing you're building. Yeah. I don't know. I'm terrible at math. Like I said, I skipped it in college, but yeah, I just building that. And also for the people who are interested from a money-making perspective, that's the other reason to do the weekly cadence and think about it as a body of work is like, for example, like I don't cuss on my channel. I try not to make any video that would like get demonetized, which might sound like not cool or not super artistic and free, but like my music is for that. My free time is for that. The channel, it's as much an expression of interest as it is a business to a degree and like a side hustle to a degree. And so weekly uploading, making constantly good work so that when you do get monetized, you can essentially reverse monetize everything you've ever made. So up until that point, you can turn it on, and then everything moving forward, you can turn it on. Some videos pop off later. Like I have a review for a keyboard that now has like 60,000 views that when it came out, it was probably like 5 of 10. if you keep that in mind too, you can just make everything as good as it can be. The algorithm might choose it, it might not, but you're building up a whole work. Anyway, I've been talking a lot, so
Dude.
appreciate you letting me kind of rant.
No, no, no. I appreciate you ranting, and there's a lot to talk about. Like when we
Yeah,
talk about what you just mentioned, the longer you're on this platform, which there's a lot. There's so much competition, right, amongst all the
yeah,
different platforms that are out there. I looked at your
yeah,
Instagram page, for example, and I kind of want to get. I need to figure out a strategy that's going to enable me to be a lot less involved with other platforms and like kind of
yeah,
doubling down mostly on YouTube. I know a lot of people say
yeah,
you should kind of diversify and all that.
yeah. I don't
I'm
do that at
gonna,
all.
bro, and I
It's
want
all
to,
YouTube.
I want to get there because you have
Yeah,
it's interesting to me when I see that because I look at people's main platform and then I look, okay, what are they doing on this other platform? Some people,
yeah,
maybe they have a big enough presence where they have someone handling it and it's like, they're posting regularly or whatever. On your end, it's like it's clearly evident, right? It's like YouTube is the main
yeah.
thing that you're
It's
posting stuff
YouTube
on.
is like 90. Instagram is for fun. Instagram is a fun way to engage with
Mm,
people. It's a fun way to show little things I'm working on. Sometimes I'll clip something out of a video and make a reel sometimes, but
mm-hmm.
yeah, YouTube is the thing. And this is going to sound like very callous and like 1980s businessman, but YouTube pays me. And I knew
Yeah,
YouTube would pay me. I don't
yeah.
understand. I think some people make money on Instagram, but like one, this is the other thing I wanted to say is that YouTube is the first thing I've done where if you put in the work and you like study it, it will grow. Like
Mm,
you can actually plan for it. You can actually like I can't
mm-hmm.
tell you when I'm going to hit 100,000 subscribers, but if I keep doing what I'm doing, X amount of time, X amount of quality, I should. And this is the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that feels like that. Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and music and everything else, it's like you just throw stuff at a wall. There are
Mm-hmm.
people who are great at Instagram. You were talking about that one guy. There's Brother versus Robot out here as well, I think, and a few other ones where like
Mm-hmm.
their Instagram is immaculate. They probably get some kind of brand stuff from it, but to be frank, like
Mm-hmm.
YouTube has an AdSense system engine and an audience building that's so much better than everything else. And even
Mm-hmm.
when I wasn't making any money from anything, I knew that YouTube was going to be the one where if I did it right, I would hit 1,000 subscribers, I'd hit 4,000 watch hours, I'd be able to turn on AdSense, and then I would be able to keep it growing. Instagram, I was on Twitter for a while. I quit Twitter before it was cool to quit. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I quit Twitter
Yeah. Yeah.
because it was bad for me. I was too tapped in. I was too looped into the world and too much. It
Okay.
was truly doom scrolling for me. So I just had to
Mm-hmm.
stop. Even though there's cool
Mm-hmm.
people on there, not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram feels like, oh, this is fun videos and pictures of people doing music stuff. At least my music Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool. But yeah, I highly recommend focusing. Obviously, I could be putting my foot in my mouth. The reason people say diversify on platforms is if one goes down, you're safe. Same with investing, right? You want to be like stocks, bonds, cat, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, for me, especially at this size, like we were joking about our stature, but like obviously, Ricky Tinez has 100K. Like Red Means Recording has 100K or more. Like a lot of the big players in the space, you can get above 100,000 easy. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very grateful to be at 6,000. That's 6,000 people that chose to watch my stuff, and that
Wow.
means the world to me. So don't get me wrong on that. But
Yeah.
I also know that at the size I'm at, there's a lot of growth and a lot of work to do. And so that's the other thing where it's like focus on YouTube, especially because time is precious, right? I mean, you know that you were talking
Yeah.
about that with your 7-month-old and like enjoying the time you have. I think having that kind of perspective is really important too. To be frank, a lot of my time is just playing video games, but in the time I want to have that's not work and not relaxation, for me, it's just really, it's YouTube and music production.
Yeah.
I release music really slowly. Like
Mm.
my last album was 2020. My next album will be the middle of next year or later.
Mm.
I realized I just wanted to make music the way my favorite artists make music. So like there are amazing, talented people who are putting out music every month, every year, and this is not me knocking them at all. But a lot of the artists I really like who make like albums take a couple of years, take like 2 or 3 years. I used to think I have to wait until I'm signed. I have to wait until I'm famous, and then I almost am 30, and I'm like, okay, I gotta just do like I gotta like act like I'm already in that headspace because the only
Mm-hmm.
difference between being in that place and not being in it really is just like having a big audience is the only thing that I think a signed person would have that I don't.
Sure.
Everything else, we're kind of on the same page. I have access to music gear. I have access to
Sure.
time. I have access to practice and the craft. And so YouTube is a really good way to keep the skills up and get something out consistently, because I'm like you in that I do want to do a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
But for music, it's way denser and it's way more time, and it's kind of like I just pit a bunch of demos against each other and they all have to fight until like 10 or so are good enough, and then I'm like, okay, we're
Hmm.
gonna finish these. And but yeah, I do. That was one thing, and the biggest thing I'm working on with my channel, besides just growing it, obviously, is my music audience is super small compared to my YouTube audience. I think that's
Hmm.
pretty normal for
Sure.
YouTubers who make music, but like my average Spotify listens are like, I think I have like 35 listeners a month, and I
Hmm.
had 100,000 YouTube views this month. Like, so it's
Hmm.
like a totally
Hmm.
different. I'm trying to figure out how to branch those two together. Weirdly, like the songs from scratch and a lot of the beats I make that are on YouTube, they're not the kind of thing that's going to be on my album, just because
Hmm.
like I get really precious about the music that's going to get released. I get worried
Hmm.
if I show some instrumentals of a thing that might be on an album, someone might like steal it and try to make something
Oh
with it,
yeah.
which is
Sure.
probably stupid because that's like honestly a good thing. But um, yeah, I wanna find a way to bring those two things together. But the most important thing is just appreciating what I built as well. Like the fact that anyone cares about the videos we're making is so cool. Like at
It
the end of the
is,
day,
man.
that's the thing. Whether the video gets 200 views, I used to get bummed out if you do a 1 of 10 and then you get a 10 of 10. I made a video about riding my e-bike in Portland. It's the worst performing video I've ever done, but it's the one video where my coworkers and like my family and friends are like, oh, I actually understood that one, because they'll be like, I'll watch your
Uh-huh.
channel, but I don't know what music tech is. But you were
Yeah.
riding your bike in Portland, and that was cool. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
cool. If 100
Right.
people decided to watch it, that's still nice. Like it all means something, you know?
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
That last part that you just mentioned. Having the ability to make varied content that
Mm-hmm.
is not necessarily aligned with most of what's previously been on your channel. That's something that I've
Yeah.
been thinking about quite a lot. Like I have different sides to me. I have more weird, quirky, Eric Andre-esque, strange
Yeah.
comedy kind of things that I love,
Yeah.
showcasing and stuff. But the person who's, followed my channel up to this point may not be maybe like, what the heck is this? Like that type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure how I'm going to do this exactly, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to, well, real quick about YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, I look at it as just like, there's so many amazing opportunities on this platform. What you and I are doing, mostly doing the 16 by 9, regular style videos, but there's
Yeah.
the opportunity to go live on this platform, which is, I
Hmm.
think, an incredible thing, right? And I love going live, but I'm figuring out a strategy that makes sense, for my channel. There's an
Yeah.
opportunity to take your phone and record anything and turn it into a YouTube short. And now we know shorts are going to
Yeah.
be monetized next year. YouTube is being
Yeah. So you'll see
deliberate.
me there next year.
Bro, I hope so, man. I mean, they're making it so easy, right? To like grab your phone to
Yeah.
make it, or to grab one of your old
Yeah.
videos. Like I'm starting to
Yeah.
think now, okay, like my regular videos, you can hit that create button and turn it to a short. So like thinking
Hmm.
about framing for my videos and making sure that it'll still look good with the typography and all that stuff. These are when you were
Yeah.
mentioning about, being thoughtful and about it being a business, these are the things that kind of excite me. The community tab, which I want to see more from that, but I look at that community tab as
Yeah.
like a really potentially powerful place to just be like, yo, what do you guys want to see next? Do you guys want to see this, or this? And these are your
I'm
subscribers,
scared of
hopefully.
that tab.
Is
I'm
that right?
scared to
Why,
post in there.
why is
Okay, so
that?
like, so I treat YouTube as a like I make YouTube the way I watch YouTube, which is probably stupid because I watch YouTube on a TV for the most part. Like I
Oh,
know I'm not like how normal people are watching it, but like I was really against shorts for a while because I never watched them. Like, and so I was really against a lot of things like that. And the community scares me because I never want to waste anyone's time. And so like
okay.
I feel like if I'm putting out a video that week, the people who chose to subscribe to me are probably interested in a video that week. My worry was like if I post in the community, if I post like a poll or if I post like a thread, and this is probably stupid. Like I'm not saying do what I'm saying.
Mm.
I think you should do what you're talking about. But
Mm-hmm.
I've been scared because I'm like, what if I post something and then one of my subscribers who's like, I'm just here for the music, so I don't want like stuff in my thread is like unsubscribe because and that's probably stupid and like maybe I
Mm.
shouldn't worry about them being there in the first place. But
Mm-hmm.
I never want to like annoy people or spam people, and so that's like a big part of why I've been worried about the community. Like I think the tools are really
Gotcha.
cool, but like okay, so like I have roommates who love Twitch, and you do a lot of lives, right? I think
Yeah.
the people who are engaged in live stuff would love community stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
because it that's such a part of that experience. But since I really just produce like pre-made videos and put them out, I get worried about the community thing. Like I don't want to encroach. I don't want to
I
feel like
got
up
you.
in people's business if they don't want me there.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So
But
you're being
I
super
think you should
thoughtful
leverage
about
it.
that.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
100%. I
I
mean,
will say, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say 100% just real quick in the sense of
Yeah,
the features there, and there in my view there are ways to do what you're describing, which is like just posting something similar to what might go on Instagram, for example, just to show people what you're doing that has nothing really necessarily to do with the videos. And then there's ways to
yeah,
be like, yo, like, okay. And I believe that fans love having a voice, right? So if there's like an opportunity for
yeah,
you to, get a gauge of what people want to see next from you, like, do you guys want to see this style of video or this style? And that can help you be like, wow, I got 40 or 50 or 100. It's usually not like a huge, in my
sure.
experience, people that engage with that compared to the number of subscribers.
They're
But
probably true
it's,
fans though. They're like people
yeah,
who really
totally.
care.
People who really like, wow, and then they see the video, and then you'd be like, oh, shout out to everyone who voted. Like, there's like a way to kind of make that all
Yeah,
work. I'm
yeah.
curious about channel memberships specifically.
Oh yeah.
You're aware of those, right? So specifically, and I think I'm going to do this. I'm almost definitely going to. I kind of experiment with it. The types of videos that are maybe like home videos of me and my wife doing something,
Hmm.
or maybe something that doesn't have to do with music production. Me unboxing this pair of Adidas Legos sneakers that I got the
Yeah,
other day, which is random, but I ordered them because they looked dope and they were on sale. So I was like, I'm gonna do an unboxing with these. Like, this, I don't care. I don't care what y'all want to see. I'm gonna do this
yeah,
just because it's fun for me, right? But
yeah,
obviously, I do have to care a little bit, right, in terms of like my regular subscribers. And so for me, I'm
yeah.
thinking like I would love to have a handful of people who really want to see this more about Kevin, whatever's on my mind kind of thing,
Hmm.
videos, and paying $5 a month to have access to this playlist. And that's kind of allowing. I'm
That's
going to do it,
interesting.
but it's not, because if you put that video out regularly, then
Yeah,
the way, like, the algorithm. I think part of the way it works is like it'll see that video not perform well, and then so maybe the next video that you're making, like, it
yep,
won't know who to serve it up to, type of a thing, right? And so this
yep.
would allow me to get away from that, and also, periodically mention it or whatever in the community tab. Just like have fun with it. Like, I'm gonna do that. It's just a matter. I'm
That's
making a
cool.
few other tweaks to figure that piece out. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'll let you know how it goes in a few weeks.
Please do.
Yeah.
There's so much I don't know, and I think that's the most exciting part of all of this is like just how much you can learn and how much room for experimentation there is, and how much you
Right.
can do.
Right.
Yeah,
It
I
really
totally
is.
relate though. I don't know if you watch a lot of tech YouTube, but Sarah Dietschy, she does a lot of tech stuff. She talked about she used to have this philosophy of one for them, one for me. And she says that
Mm.
doesn't really work as much anymore, and I kind of see that, but it's what you're talking about. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's why the bike video did bad. I thought the bike video would find the bike audience, but instead, like my people weren't interested in it, and then
Mm-hmm.
no one else was super. It might have had a bad title, it might have had a bad thumb too. You
Mm.
can't really know,
Sure.
but yeah, I think I don't think that should stop you from experimenting ever. Like having, and I definitely think that what you're talking about is a really good way to do it. I also think though that I don't want to get too much into negative YouTube experiences for sure, but I did a lot of iPad stuff and then I didn't. And a lot of the end of my iPad videos, like that journey was kind of negative, whereas like I really wanted to believe in that platform. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was doing iPad music production on an iPad 2, on an iPad 3, on the
Wow.
first Pro. Like I really tried. Like I really
Mm-hmm.
wanted that thing to be what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
And it made the Macs what they are now. So it's not a lost cause, and there's a lot of people who do amazing stuff on iPad. But
Mm-hmm.
I hit enough roadblocks that I was like, it's better for me and it's better for my viewers if I stop trying to make this work. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
buying iPads because I thought people wanted to see me make iPad videos, and that's where it's like, no, if I'm not feeling it like that, other people are going to make better videos. Like Jakob Hack, I know you've done some iPad stuff. I think like
Sure.
people who love that platform and are going to
Yeah.
make positive or at least just like engaged videos with it are going to do better there. So I don't think people should be afraid to leave behind or try something new. I talked to Jeremy Redmeans Recording about this a little bit when I was
Mm-hmm.
making the switch. I was like fortunate enough to be able to just like DM him basically and be like, and then
Awesome.
he lets you like pay for like 30-minute like mentor session stuff. I
Yeah.
think you do that with like teaching piano, right?
Yeah, sure do. Yep.
It's similar to that. So he'll teach you how to do like synths, but he'll also, I was just like, hey, will you talk to me about being a YouTuber for 30 minutes? He's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm worried about this. And he's like, yeah, when I stopped doing the OP1 videos, like a lot of people left, but um, there's still like a rich audience there that people are interested in what he's doing now. And I think
Mm-hmm.
going back to what I talked about earlier, where you and I are in a similar place, subscriber wise and channel growth wise, I think now is the time, not that there's ever not a time, but now
Mm-hmm.
is a good time to experiment and branch out and introduce your audience to like the vast, circle of stuff you're interested in and things you might want
Yeah.
to talk about. Where do you fall down on like I should start a new channel versus I should put this video here? Like, have you ever
Ooh.
thought about that?
Bro, I have a lot of thoughts on that. So my main
Yeah.
thing, these styles of interviews, I was having these on more so. I like referring to them as conversations more so. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I was putting all these on my main Khordmaster channel, and you'd have an hour long video of two people talking, and then few days later or a week later you'll have like a, I don't know, 8-minute koala sampler video or something like that,
Yeah.
and then maybe a few days later it'll be like a total different thing. So it's like different length videos, different style, different kind of everything. And so I decided, like maybe, I don't know, several months ago, 9 months ago, to make a separate channel for these videos. Now
Hmm.
my plan is, like, I have 200 something subscribers on that channel and like 5,000 or some odd on my main channel. My
Yeah.
plan is to continuously, and I have to figure out a great way to do this, but I was just thinking of it literally today. Like, I have these great videos that only 200 people seemingly are gonna see, and that's actually not true, because one of these videos got like 16,000 views. This dude Frank
Nice.
Tedesco, yeah, dude, this dude Frank Tedesco, he's a pianist. He uses this platform called I don't know how to pronounce it, Omgli or Omgli, whatever this thing is, where he like
Okay.
video chats with random people and they request songs. And he has actually the same keyboard that I have over here, the Roland Phantom, and he's a
Oh, sick.
incredible pianist, and he plays stuff by ear and like wows these people, and like the reaction videos are like priceless. And so he's doubled down on that, right? He's like incredible. He has that market, like, really, he's doing great stuff with it. So, but he has a big audience, so I guess somehow a lot of people found the interview. It was an incredible interview. I say all that to
That's
say
cool.
my plan is to use moments from these
Hmm.
conversations, clip it
Hmm.
for like 20 seconds or 30 seconds, and talk about them as a part of a, I don't know, whatever video I'm doing this week on my main channel. Be like, yo,
Yeah.
guys, like, today we're talking about this, but let me let y'all know that I had a great conversation with a fellow YouTuber, and like have a clip of it. Like,
Yeah.
not doubling down like whole long thing about it. Just, if you're interested in the full conversation, there's another channel. Boom. All right, let's get to what we're talking about today, type thing, and like
Yeah.
continuously do that. So that's kind of my thought, moving
Yeah.
forward for these two
Do you want to
channels.
hear my recommend on that?
Please, yeah.
My gut feeling is you should put that near the middle or the end of the video. And the reason for that, and I've started trying to do this as well, is
Mm-hmm.
those are the people who've decided to stay, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
middle is probably good for this because
Yep.
like there's going to be a good cross section of people who'd be interested in it, and I don't think it'd be bad to put it at the beginning. But
Yeah.
I've been trying to design my videos lately, like I've kind of like Mr. Beast, to be honest. Like, not there's a lot of people I learned from, but one of the things I learned from Mr. Beast and people like that is like just get to it. Like, I don't have an
Yeah.
intro, I don't have intro music. I've stopped being like, "Hi, I'm Dylan Parrott." Nope. Today I got this thing, and this is cool, and this is what it does, and then I'm going to talk about it. Um,
Yeah.
that seems to have worked a little bit. My engagement's still not like amazing, um, but yeah, I feel like for that, I would put it near the middle, just so that like the people who
Interesting.
are already interested and have stayed, by the time they see that message. I've been doing this when I talk about my music. I used to put it at the beginning, but I'm like, that's
Mm.
just something to scare away someone who doesn't know who I
Mm-hmm.
am.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's near
So
the middle
true.
or the end, they're like, yeah, if you already like this video, I have other videos and I have music and stuff. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how many people stay. I always like actually design the end cards and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
the engagement on that has to be like 0.05 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, those are the people I think who might be the most interested in that kind of
Mm-hmm.
conversation or learning more potentially.
Bro, it's a great piece of advice, because all we need to do is like literally put ourselves in the viewer's shoe, as I'm sure you're doing.
Yep,
Like, when we
always.
watch a video and we hear like like we hear that thing at the beginning that we just don't
Hmm.
care about. And also, like, maybe 95% of the time, or 98%, I don't know the exact number of the time, where when like a YouTuber says, like and subscribe for more,
Yeah.
or like and subscribe to support, or whatever the case is, I never, I rarely, if ever, will subscribe to someone's channel
Hmm.
unless if I'm like
Hmm.
really excited about that video, and then I do a quick browse. I'm like, wow, this person looks like
Yep.
they're someone I want to I want to check more. But like the vast majority of the time, I can't be bothered. How about you?
It's super variable. It's a lot of that. A lot. Okay, so like if I'm interested in a new piece of gear, like the OP1 Field came out, and if it was in 2000, I would have one right now. But like I was watching video after video, and there's a couple people who like they've just made a bunch, and I was like, you know what, you get a sub. If I've watched 2 or 3 of your videos,
Yeah,
automatic sub.
yeah,
Um,
totally.
there's a couple of YouTubers who do a really good job of doing that proactive, and I'll say I do it in the videos for sure because I noticed an immediate change in
Ah,
the sub counts I was getting before I asked for them and after,
okay.
because sometimes people just don't think about it.
Yeah,
But
totally.
it's about when and where and how you do it for sure. Like there are people who are funny, like Graham Stephan does like finance videos, and the way he does is like he'll just yeah, and you could I don't know, I can't give a good example, but he'll just throw in
Mhm.
smashing the like the thumbnail or the smashing the like for the YouTube algorithm in the middle of a sentence about something else. He'll kind of
Okay.
like prank you into it, or like we can make this happen if you just smash it, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
I'm not like that in my videos, but you can take little bits of can I introduce this in a way that doesn't detract from what I'm doing? So that's the difference between opening your video with a minute of hi, this is who I am, this is my life story, and this is what I'm about. Here's a 20
Yeah.
second like video with my logo.
Yeah.
I feel like that's of a different era of YouTube. Now it's
Mm,
like show them what you're doing, talk about what you're doing, and if they made it 2 minutes, 3 minutes in the video and they're still interested, hey, consider subscribing. Maybe they didn't think about it,
mm-hmm.
but don't make a big
Mm-hmm.
show about it. And I'll throw one at the end sometimes too. This is we're gonna run out of time, so I should have asked this way earlier. But like,
Mm-hmm.
how far in advance do you plan your videos? Like, because
Ooh,
I just kind of
man.
make them. Like I'll think about them throughout the week, but I make them every week. I don't usually have them like in the barrel ready to go later. What about
I'm
you?
glad you asked that question, and I'm gonna suggest that we do another one of these at some point in the near
Yeah,
future, all right? Because I feel
that'd
like
be
there's a
awesome.
whole lot of other things that we
Yeah,
like some periodic little session where we're just catching up, but other people can watch it. It's like a recurring series if you're down. Um,
super down.
I'm figuring that out. I love the idea of making them the way that you described them because I used to do it that way. Now that I have
Hmm.
a studio outside of the house that I go to and film there and do all this type of thing, and I'm
Nice.
really trying to be proactive with making things like run it a little bit more like a business, schedule things out and stuff
Hmm.
like that.
Yep.
That is what it appears most people who are very big and who have a big audience stuff do, but I
Yep.
don't enjoy I really enjoy having an idea, making it, and then putting it out like right there. I want y'all to see this right now. I don't want you to see it in
Yep.
like 3 weeks. How am I going to feel about it in 3 weeks kind of thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I have to figure out how to make that work. But and I don't know exactly which of the two is going to be the right way.
Probably a balance, and there's probably ways to bring that energy to the pre-planning. There's probably videos, that Linus has talked about, like evergreen videos. I try to make every
Hmm.
video I make something that would be worth watching a year later, for example.
Okay.
That's not
Yeah.
always going to be true, but you try to
Right.
keep that in mind. Partly from a business perspective, because if it's always worth watching, it'll always generate AdSense, which is why
Right.
Linus does it. But partly because, you don't know when YouTube's going to recommend something. I get comments on like, is the MPC Live 1 worth it in 2021? And they'll be like, how do you feel about this? Like people still commenting now, like, oh, like what
Yeah.
about this? What about this? I'm like, oh, we're so far past that. Or like my negative Machine Plus review versus my like positive one when they improved it.
Right.
Um, so I'm losing the thread, but the basic idea was there's probably a way to pipeline where like the topics that are always going to be interesting to you are the ones you could probably film the earliest, and then the ones that
Hmm.
you want to have the most recent feeling of would be the ones you maybe instead of having it be 3 videos up, you just release it now and then move
Right.
X video down, that kind of thing.
Right. Man, all right, so this is what I'm you can still hear me, right? Call
Yep.
on Okay, call on Kev's iPhone. Oh, someone's calling my phone now. So I'm doing the continuity camera
Okay.
thing. And this
Nice.
thing,
How's that
I
working? It
love it.
looks good.
Bro, when it works, thank you. Yeah, when it works, I'm like, I absolutely love it. It's still like a tiny bit finicky. Like, as you can see, I was like 2 minutes late today. I
Yeah.
was very, very mad about that.
No worries.
But, but yeah, no, I love it because I can frame the shot
Oh,
very
that's
easily
cool.
without plugging anything
Yeah.
in. And just have it here for the rest of the interview if I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
But last thing we'll talk about real quick
Okay.
is handles. So you're
Yeah.
familiar with YouTube having handles like now, right? We
Oh,
have
they
a.
keep emailing me. I chose
Oh,
one
you
like
have.
the first day, and they
Yeah, you
still
did.
send me emails. I'm like,
Yeah,
do you
I don't
not
know what's up
know?
with that either. It's kind of weird. It's like, hey,
Like,
it's there already. Like, all right,
yeah,
it's all good.
yeah, yeah.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that this is going to be as significant as I envisioned before they even announced
Hmm.
this coming. Um,
Hmm.
I'm thinking that if I'm watching a video and I think it's very, man, there's so many other things we can talk about right now, bro.
I know.
But
We'll
we're
definitely do a
gonna
part two. This is
we
awesome.
100% will, because there's like so
Yeah.
many different things. All right, so handles are going to be that. I'm just excited about being able
Yeah.
to see a video and be like, "Yo, I think that Dylan's going to be would be interested in this, and I'd love to have a dialogue with him. But maybe let's not do it as a private text message. Let me like say, "Yo,
Hmm.
at Dylan, what do you think about this video or whatever the case is?" And like, I'm
Yeah.
expecting to be able to have that Instagram-esque type of a thing in the comments thread, because the comments on YouTube
Yeah.
videos are quite fascinating a lot of the time, right? It's like a lot of stuff happening there, a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
insightful information, and so to be able to for you to bring my attention or vice versa into a happening comment section on a dope video, I think that's
Yeah.
bigger than most people realize. It's going to turn it
It's a
into
good
more of a
point.
community thing. And I'm just going to give you a couple of rapid fires. YouTube Shorts,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
drafts section in YouTube Shorts
Hmm.
is is incredible, because you
Okay.
could have an idea about, like, you can just grab your phone and just film something, and like something rudimentary, like, hey guys, like, I'm doing this, blah blah blah, and like you can put it into the draft section, and you can have like a growing list of these like video ideas that are all in your short section, not taking up storage on your phone. And
Yeah.
because if you did that same thing and just record it to your camera roll, you maybe like would do what I do, which is like we might forget about the actual video, and then you don't know where it's
Yeah.
at. But like that's
Yeah.
been just absolutely incredible to have that there. So I would say, like, some advice
That's
for you or
cool.
for anyone else out there. When
Yeah.
you're feeling creative, when you're making music, whatever, like you can, if you're jamming out to one of your songs, right? If you have a direct, iPhone lightning adapter or whatever, plug it in, and so it's like vibing to your own music, like just capturing those moments. That's been really really fun to experiment with. So I just wanted to throw that
That's
out there.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to look into that more. Basically, I heard an interview with I don't know. I think it was Hank Green, like the Vlog Brothers guy. He was on the
Okay.
Vergecast, or he was on Decoder, I think, the Nilay Patel's tech based, like, talking to CEOs type in interview podcast. And he was
Okay.
talking about how TikTok has like a single money pool, and so it's getting progressively smaller, but YouTube is going to launch like the normal AdSense monetization for shorts. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
when I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm going to just wait to look at shorts until it's kind of where the rest of YouTube is. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, I've been using Reels and getting like more comfortable with that format.
Yep.
And so I think I'll be more involved in shorts. I just want to make sure, similar to the community thing, I just never want to bombard people with stuff they're not interested in. But my
Yeah.
understanding is shorts kind of lives in its own world, right? Like it just shows people who want to see that kind of stuff.
I would say yes and no. They recently, I
Yeah,
mean, that's been a thing people have said they don't like the mix of the two, but YouTube has
yeah,
listened to that, and now if you go to anyone's channel, they separated all three of those, like, on an actual channel, so I can see all of your regular videos, all your shorts, all your lives in chronological order, or click a
nice.
button and do it to like popular order, like popularity, like
Yeah,
most viewed. That to me is major. But I think when you're just
yeah.
scrolling, if you were to post a regular video or a short, if I'm just scrolling on my sub feed, I think I would see either or
Okay.
kind of thing. So people
Yeah,
are wanting that to happen. I don't feel bombarded. Like if I subscribe to someone, that's what I don't fully get. Like if I'm subscribed to someone's channel, what
yeah,
I'll be interested in watching either of the two formats, but I kind of get like I kind of get why people would want the type of video separated on like their main feed or on their sub feed.
yeah.
I understand the logic behind it for sure.
Well, I can speak to the bombard worry. So there's your Sanjay C's, right? You're sub to Sanjay C because he's Sanjay C. You're gonna watch his videos. He's a personality you're super interested in. And then there's the guy who made like two or three kind of interesting videos. You know what? They did good work. They deserve a sub. They've got a small audience. You want to help them grow.
Hmm.
I view myself as that guy still. And I
Hmm.
don't know if everyone wants a community post or like a short from that guy.
I
Like
gotcha.
maybe the bigger person they like were following or more invested in. Like I've watched almost every John Hill. He's like a skateboarding YouTuber who also is like just
Mm,
very motivational. I'll watch anything
nice.
that guy does, including shorts.
Okay.
But like
Okay.
I I subscribe to a lot of people. I think it's public facing. I don't know what the number is, but like I try to treat YouTubers how I want to be treated. So like
Okay.
small content creators, big people, I'll follow you if you make cool stuff. I'll subscribe. Like I'll engage in the comments. I'll comment on your stuff if it's cool. Like I'm not going to do
Mm-hmm.
it from a disingenuous, just follow as many people so they'll follow you
Mm.
back kind of thing.
Sure, sure.
But I am engaged in the platform. But that
Yeah.
said, if all of those people posted a community post the same day, I might start unsubscribing. So that's what I'm
I
thinking
gotcha.
about.
Look, man, I think that's a very fair perspective. It's kind of like, yeah, you know what that would mean to you as a viewer. Like you
Yeah.
would feel that way. So you're giving people the respect. I think ultimately it kind of boils down to what I mentioned even earlier about like when people say subscribe, right? My
Yeah.
response to
Yeah.
that was different than your response typically, right? So
Yeah.
I
Totally.
think it's just important to kind of just realize that there's such a vast behavior, vast
Yes.
different type of behavior that you're going to get depending
Yes.
on the view, depending on the person. But it's very cool to like have these types of conversations
Yeah.
and feel inspired. And like I said, so we're gonna get ready to wrap. I definitely will have you on again for sure. We'll make this like a
Cool.
recurring thing. It'll just be dope to kind of be like seeing our progression over over the
Yeah.
course of we're towards the end of the year now, so over the course of 2023, like learning
Hmm.
together and seeing the growth and things that I learned, that you learned. I think it'll be fun to kind of do that and then have like a little like a reflection on it later on, like be able to look back like, wow, we had, whether it's quarterly or whatever it is, bi-monthly or whatever,
Yeah.
and like seeing the
Yeah.
progression. Like I'm excited for that.
Me too. Yeah, and I'll try
Yeah.
to get like a light set up next time so I don't just fade into darkness as the sun sets.
Well, no, let me say this too. Like the fact that your setup and the fact that like your videos, like you have a tank top in a lot of your videos, right? Like to
Yeah.
me, that's just, and I notice these things, right? It's like it just stands out in a I think a great way. It's just like you said, it's whatever. I'm saying
Yeah.
it in the most complimentary way possible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
whatever. Like you're here for the information. You don't care
Yeah.
about what shirt I'm wearing. All this, like
No.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's just mad cool to me.
I'm not gonna do it shirtless for sure, but yeah, as long as I'm like
Right. I got
covered,
something
yeah.
covered, so yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Those are secret pro tip. That's usually like, am I kind of bummed out? I'm probably in a, like if my
Okay.
energy is low, if I because I like I said, weekly videos. I have to do it.
Wow.
How
Yeah.
well am I
Yeah.
dressed directly
Yeah.
correlates to like what's my energy level? What can I
That's
do today?
hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. That's really funny, man. Oh man, I love it. All right, so I'm gonna give you
Awesome.
back the rest of your night, man. Really had a great time talking to you, and look forward to continuing these conversations in the near
You
future.
as well, man. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for reaching out, and like I just think it's awesome you're reaching out to creators and building up a community like this.
Absolutely, man. Have a great one.
You too.